Hello everyone and welcome to another Winchester Wednesdays. I'm your host, Winchester 572. And yes, I am back. 1 second. There, let me turn myself up a little bit. Anyways, I hope you all are doing good. Sorry we're almost an hour late. Yeah, we weren't really prepared and it was really hot today, so I took a nap after work and just a bunch of stuff didn't fall into place quite right. But anyways, we are back. My mixer is now here. My voice is going through that. Still, I need to get one more XLR cable that's a little bit longer to go to my other HS7. But other than that, also, if Jesse was here, she'd be happy. But if Larsis is listening, he should be happy. My HS7s are now down on my desk on ear level. So, yeah. But other than that, went and watched some races. Or watched the races last night. That was pretty cool. Got to see a couple guys fight because another guy wrecked another guy. So, that was kind of fun. Anyways, without further ado, let me introduce you to the call. Hello, call.
This reminds me of that one time Winchester came into the chat and wanted to know how we all were.
Yeah, it was a huge shocker. Like, wait, you actually care?
Oh my.
Yeah, I just hate everyone. Anyways, so starting off here with my lovely co-host CMC.
I still haven't heard the point where you jump into the call on stream yet. There it is. There it is.
Alrighty.
So I have no idea what you're talking about. I know you said something about your setup, and Larsis might like it, but So all I'm gonna have to say is I'm going to drop a brick wall on you.
What I was saying, Larsis would like is I got my HS7s moved from the shelf above my desk to down on my desk, which is head level. So, but
Frickin' finally!
Jesus Christ, I thought Jesse was here for a second. Anyways, next we have, I guess I'll just go. Next we have our lovely narrator, Larsis.
And tonight we are going to say it's frickin' hot. It's 117 degrees outside. Please get me out of here.
Well, it was 107 degrees while I was
out
at
of
work.
the oven until you're good and well done, because that's what the customer ordered.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my fridge. I'm going to grab some Toll House cookies and put them on a sheet. And I'm going to stick them on the dashboard of my car for about 40 minutes until they're done.
Woohoo!
I need you to test this.
Make sure they don't burn. I don't like burn.
You're acting like this hasn't been tested already.
Didn't they do it on Mythbusters?
Alrighty. And next up with introductions, we have Double R Forest.
Today is Celestia Day. Glory to the solar empire. Praise she who raises the sun.
Burn the sun, the moon is our rightful ruler.
Preach.
Hold on. We have to go to Dark Souls to praise the sun.
That was spooky.
Anyways, next up, as you have heard, we have the lovely Sora.
Hi.
Wow.
Hey,
And-
I'm short and simple, okay?
Short
Hey,
and simple and
forever.
awesome. Alrighty. And next up, we have a couple of newcomers here. So first off, we have Rectifier.
I never agreed to this, but hello.
Sounds like we kidnapped them and taken them hostage.
I am. I have.
Well,
Which it was
put
kind
in
of
the
funny.
trunk.
Because Rectifier is just like, you deserve to be in this chat, and then like 2 days later, I see that I don't have it anymore. I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess I didn't deserve to be in that chat.
What?
Your chat.
Your chat.
Fire.
Wait, what? What happened?
He was removed from your chat.
I'm sorry. My chat has been through like 7.5 like reboots. So
Oh wow.
It really has. It
It's-
really has.
let's just say when it comes to drama, me and drama like to share a milk chocolate shake, you know.
Oh, fun. And speaking of malt chocolate shakes, we have Marzi.
Hi.
That was the best like transition I've ever heard. Speaking of sweet and tasty things, Marzipans is with us, everyone.
Boy, I hope this is PG-13.
Nope.
Yes,
No,
yes.
never. It always
NC-17.
segues out of control.
Alrighty. So, anyways, yes, we are very late tonight. Like, this is normally the time when we'd almost be done reading. But anyways, thanks all of you for showing up and
It's
whatnot.
no problem, man.
Again,
Showing up,
again,
being abducted, getting tied to the chair.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, what else would I have done with my life?
I'm sorry, but we're gonna be getting those ropes switched with chains in
Like
about a minute.
If you're gonna tie me up, man, at least take me out for dinner first, you know.
I second that.
Jeez, who does that sound like?
Well, this is getting interesting.
Are we
Yeah.
gonna wait?
Anyways, I guess whenever we're ready, Lars says.
I don't think we are going to read. I think that we're just going to watch that happen now.
I don't want to be just watch, man.
All right, so apparently we're continuing It Takes a Village by
Wait,
Dieter
where's the
Bid.
name for chapter 5?
It's just chapter 5. There are no names for these.
I thought there were names. Am
No,
I
there weren't.
confused?
You're confused.
Am
You're
I
an old man.
remembering the last book?
Yeah, you remember the last book with Wubsy.
well, according to this, chapter
Wubsy
5.
was adorable.
According to this, chapter 5 is called Creditors, the Debtor, and the Estate.
What?
If you happen to be going to Cornell and studying the different forms of bankruptcy protection. But in any case, It Takes a Village by Dieter Memphid. Today I will be your narrator. Spike will be played by Double R. Scoop will be attempted by Rectifier. Big Macintosh and Photo Finish are going to be played by Winchester. CMC will continue his 5-story streak of playing Twilight Sparkle.
Hey, I have
Yeah. Our newcomer, Marzipans, will be playing Mayor and Fluttershy. And Sora will continue being awesome with these things by playing Princess Celestia briefly and Rarity.
Yay!
I
So,
like how
without
you worked
further-
it up and was like, she's gonna play Celestia briefly.
I feel
So-
typecast.
Without further ado, Chapter 5. Hit us off with the streak, Miss Sora.
Dear Spike, I did say I hope to be considered one of your friends. Therefore, as your friend, you could have confined me in the situation that has arisen between yourself and the dragon of Everfree Forest. Yet, in my role as ruler of Equestria, it is your duty to tell me, a threat to our citizens is a threat to our land. Imagine my disappointment when my faithful student Twilight was the one to notify me. It is a happy coincidence that you are no longer taking her dedication or reading her letters before you send them, or I might have never been informed at all. My sister tells me that I am being too harsh and that you have a great deal to think about. I do not deny that you are undergoing a time of great stress. You asked about responsibility. Here's some truth. You have responsibility to me, your princess. You have responsibility as a citizen of Equestria. And you have responsibility towards those that care for you. You have disappointed me greatly, my dragon. Though I am saddened by your failure of duty and lack of trust, I am still your friend. Do please remember that I re-extend my offer to help. I do not have the authority to overturn 12,000 years of draconic tradition. I am afraid, but is there anything else I am able to do? Ever your friend, Princess Celestia.
It was raining. Spike was brooding. He huddled gloomily under his wings and felt the rain pattering down against the stretched pale green skin and trickling between the elongated fingers. Before him, flecked with raindrops, the letter from Princess Celestia lay. The neat black writing glared at him reproachfully.
Well, this is just great. You seriously annoyed the princess. Twilight's probably disappointed as well, and you're soaking wet. That's a really promising start to the day.
He idly wondered if Rainbow Dash would open a hole in the clouds over him and hoped she might fly by. However, the morning dragged on and he didn't see hide nor hair of the Pegasus. He concluded that she must be far away for a show, and he sighed gustily. Then he got on with some more brooding. Some pony coughed. He opened up his wings a fraction to see the mare waving smoke away energetically, a raincoat draped over her head.
Sorry.
He unfurled his wings a little more to create a dry space for the political pony to stand. She scurried under immediately and shook off her dripping raincoat.
I always forget when the weather ponies have rain schedules. Never fails. I'm on my way to the office, and it comes down.
You have a raincoat.
I have extensive prior experience of being caught in the rain, and it never comes home without it. Now, let me see how to begin.
Is something wrong?
She pursed her lips and nodded before craning her neck to look up at him.
I have a report.
A report?
Those ponies from the market on Sunday, they have been selling at other markets in the area, and they have talked rather loudly. They are gathering numbers and support, and the rumors of the organization being formed.
Spike bit his lip before saying,
Ow!
And rubbing at his mouth. Stupid fangs.
What am I gonna do?
What are we going to do? We are going to refute them, and thoroughly and categorically.
Oh, that's good.
To that end, I have taken the liberty of hiring a reporter and a photographer, and we will have a write-up about you. How does that sound?
Spike froze.
Well, we'll have it published in the Ponyville Press, Trottingham Times, and the Canterlot Sun, and the Huffington Herald, Close Horse Magazine, Manhattan Mail, and Equestria Daily. It'll show Equestria the real Spike, and these rabble-rousers will be left without hoof to stand on.
What?
You know, the actual Spike, the Ponyville Dragon, who you are, the actual... Oh.
The actual Spike swallowed.
I'm not having my citizens run out of town simply because they grow to 230 pony lengths high and breathe fire. Those Abdul peated ninnies won't know what hit them. Now, I've set up an appointment for this afternoon. Are you available? Excellent. I won't keep you further. Come to the town hall at about 3, won't you? By the way, how are things progressing with that challenge? Quite the nasty shock that was at first, but as they say, no time like the present to take the bull by the horns, eh? No doubt you're training hard. Hold up the pride of Ponyville. Splendid, splendid.
She patted his paw briskly, pulled the raincoat over her head once more, and peered out under his wings.
Useful, that.
She ducked into the driving rain once more. Spike blinked twice, then he allowed a long, heartfelt groan.
She said what now?
The mayor wants to do an article on me.
The rain had stopped, but it was still wet and miserable out on the streets, and very few ponies were braving the damp and the wind. Macintosh chewed thoughtfully on a strand of hay.
'Cause of these anti-dragon ponies?
Spike nodded once and then scrubbed at his eyes.
I'm sensing that you're not all that fond of the idea.
Spike gave him a dark look.
What gave that away?
Might be the way you're about to jump out of your skin.
Spike looked at him, horrified.
I'm shedding? Before a photo? No way. Can't this get any worse?
Thought you didn't want no photo shoot.
Right, but if I have to have one, I don't want to be all patchy and flaky in front of all Equestria.
Calm down now. Hold your horses. You look fine. Same as you ever did. Lately.
Macintosh unhitched himself from the wagon full of barrels and crates. Spike looked up from his minute inspection of the scales on his back.
I am not shedding?
Nope.
Oh. Well, good.
I can see why you don't want to talk to some reporter or get your photo taken by some pony you don't know. But if it gets these crazy pony folk off your back, then why not?
That's just it.
Spike's head thumped the cobblestones heavily.
These aren't ponies who can be persuaded by a silly little article, and it'll put a big fat target on my back for every pony, and any pony who feels the same way. They'll all know where to find me.
Hate to be the one to point it out, Spike, but you ain't exactly inconspicuous.
Macintosh adjusted his collar and squinted at the sun, and then looked expectantly down the street. He seemed to be waiting for something.
Well, couldn't this wait until I was even more inconspicuous?
Spike began thudding his head against the cobblestones repetitively.
Why couldn't they wait until I'm as big as Razorfang? No pony in their right mind would attack him.
Stop that. You give yourself a headache.
Macintosh said, smoothing down his dark blonde mane. Spike slumped over with a smoky sigh.
I officially hate everything. Can I start my 100-year sleep now?
Hello there, Spike. Oh my. Is something the matter?
The soft little voice broke him out of his dark reverie, and he looked down into Fluttershy's timid, concerned face.
Hi, Fluttershy. Oh, everything's simply peachy.
He's upset because the mayor's organized this article and photo shoot.
Oh, I don't blame him. They're simply awful. I hated it so very much.
Spike shook his head.
Wonderful.
It's alright, Spike. At least you only have to do it once, I think, unless you get famous, which can happen, but probably won't, but it could. A dragon certainly new. And they like new things, but still probably not. Unless it does. Anyway, they don't make things run away big enough for dragons.
I think you might be freaking him out a little.
Oh.
She studied Spike's fixed, glazed expression of horror and frozen body.
I'm so sorry.
He'll be fine. He's a big, strong feller.
Are you sure? I have some smelling salts in my cottage.
Yep. He'll be right as rain. Just a little shock. That's all. He'll snap out of it.
Well, if you say so.
Now, by lucky happenstance, I coincidentally seem to be free for the morning. So perhaps I could walk you where you're going, Ms. Fluttershy?
She blushed prettily.
Oh my. Well, you don't have to.
I'd like nothing better.
Well, I'm going to the post office. I go every Wednesday.
She hardly dared to look up at the big red stallion.
You don't say.
Macintosh's face was the very picture of innocence.
And then I meet Pinkie Pie at the Sugar Cube Corner.
Ain't it grand to have good friends? Now, take my hoof. There's puddles from the rain almost everywhere.
Oh, that's so very kind of you.
Perhaps I can buy you a daisy tea before you have to go?
That would be lovely.
With their voices fading in his ears, Spike finally snapped out of his paralytic shock. The image of himself in one of Rarity's fantastical creations sashaying down a runway flicked back into his thoughts. He shuddered violently, all the skin on his back creeping. Wait, Rarity. He moved as fast as he dared through the town to Carousel Boutique, which, in fact, wasn't all that fast. Every pony was just so small. He was afraid he'd knock some pony over by accident. Thankfully, Carousel Boutique was fairly close. He exhaled in relief when it came into view and delicately knocked on Rarity's door.
Come in!
I sort of can't.
Spiky Wacky!
She threw the door wide and stopped at the expression on his face.
Why, darling, whatever is the matter?
The whole story poured out of Spike, and she gasped in shock, her head tutted at exactly the right places.
My word, that's simply horrible! An interview! Forcing you to do such a thing. Why don't they ever ask the pony who wants to?
Anyway, I don't think there's any getting out of it. It's all arranged, so I came here. You know the most about this sort of thing. What am I supposed to do?
Shh.
She patted his forepaw and then carefully wiped the rainwater off on her ornate welcome mat.
Just be yourself. Stay poised. Keep calm, Spike. If you like, I'll come along with you.
He sagged with relief.
Oh, would you please?
Let's limit. Oh, I'm sure glad you came this morning, darling. Otherwise, I would simply had time to prepare.
Prepare what?
She held a hoof modestly to her chest.
Well, it was meant to be a surprise, but oh, I'm too excited to show you.
She fled back into the boutique, and Spike stuck his head inside after her.
Ha ha ha!
She turned and frowned at him.
No smoking around my materials. Hold your breath or go outside. Is that clear?
He sucked in a breath and nodded.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I have delicate fabrics in here that might discolor. Anyway, feast your eyes on this.
This proved to be a long, narrow sheet of cloth, perhaps 30 pony strides long, striped purple and green. Spike tilted his head and tried to ask the question with his eyes.
Why, it's a scarf. Can't you see?
Rarity's horn flared. The scarf flew from her hooves and wrapped tightly and firmly around his neck. And Spike almost lost control of his breath right then and there.
Oh, that is simply darling. The color's spot on. Oh, I have done it again. I have done it again. So charming. Yes, the length is just right for you.
Spike tugged his head out the door just in time, and his smoke-laden breath soared harmlessly over the boutique. He looked down at the scarf, and then at Rarity.
It's so soft.
He had a sapphire in the library that Rarity had once given him, but this was on a whole different level.
Only the very finest in Carousel Boutique, Spike.
She trotted back to the doorway. Spike carefully lifted one end of the scarf.
The length is just right. Seems a bit long.
Spike, you're persistent. You persistent in forgetting the very basics of fact. Long now, maybe, not long always.
He sat back on his haunches to look at it some more, a ploy to keep his blushing face turned away from Rarity.
Looks finished to me. What has to happen to it?
Hmm?
She studied his scales against the scarf with satisfaction.
Well, you said prepare.
Oh, not much.
She waved a hoof airily.
I was going to start the tassels with emeralds and amethysts, but then I thought that will only serve as temptation. So I thought I might make a matching hat.
That's not necessary.
He couldn't imagine how ridiculous he'd look with one of Rarity's befeathered and bejeweled creations on his head.
The scarf is really amazing on its own. I think a hat would just detract it from it. Don't you?
Yes, simplicity, purity, of course. Is Twilight coming with you this afternoon as well?
She eyed Spike shrewdly. Spike shuffled his claws.
Spike, turn your scaly derriere around and tell her I don't care what silly notion you have to head in there this time. She will want to know.
He hung his head.
I know.
She raised her eyebrows, her blue eyes stern.
If I don't see her at the photo shoot, I will tell her myself.
Okay.
Then he closed his eyes with a sigh and opened them to look at her.
Thanks, Rarity.
Au contraire, it was quite the engaging challenge. I wonder if there isn't an entire untapped market out there. Dragons must surely go cold in the winter. What with all the whole cold-blooded thing. Perhaps there's something for the next catalog,
He touched the scarf again and decided not to mention that his fire kept him fairly warm around all year. Perhaps he had a shot at getting a present next year.
Now go and talk to Twilight.
She shooed him away, and he grinned sheepishly. He made his way back through Ponyville feeling a lot calmer. Ponies glanced up at his nice new scarf curiously, and he held his head a little prouder. He had a gift from Rarity, a specially made gift just for him. Though his mind kept flicking back to his conversations with both Razorfang and Princess Luna, he firmly pushed them aside. What matter that he would outlive her? What matter that she was a tiny, dainty pony, and he a big, lumbering dragon? He could still worship her and the gift from her hooves. In all the excitement, he'd forgotten Princess Celestia's letter. It was wet against the cobbles when he arrived back at the square, and Twilight was standing next to it, her eyes following the lines rapidly. Guilt washed over him. He halted abruptly as her gaze lifted to his.
I like your scarf.
It was a present from Rarity.
Come here, Spike.
He slowly sidled up to her.
I'm not angry. I'm not even disappointed. I just wish I could say the same for the princess.
Spike averted his eyes.
You should have told her, Spike. If you're serious about wanting to stay here with me and the others, you're going to have to remember that there are certain rules that govern this town. And number one is that it is equestrian, and Princess Celestia cares about every pony in it. That includes you.
I'm sorry, Twilight. Can you forgive me?
She snorted and batted at his scarf with one hoof.
It's the princess you need to say that to. You're just lucky I sent that letter. She'd be even more hurt if the wait had been longer.
Yeah, I know.
Spike's eyes slid to the ground again.
So why didn't you write?
I did.
He squirmed a little. This situation with the princess had been the whole substance of his brooding earlier that morning, and he wasn't even sure how to explain his conclusions. He knew that he didn't want any pony endangered because of him. This whole mess was his fault, and he needed to see it through. He didn't want Princess Celestia or Princess Luna, or especially Twilight, to bear the full brunt of Razorfang's malice and cruelty. He guessed that even an immortal alicorn sky goddess could be burned by dragonfire. He knew that unicorns could. And there was another reason, far stranger and more selfish. Somewhere, deep inside him, had awoken a fierce pride at Razorfang's challenge. His fear of the huge creature and his dread of death were still as healthy as ever, but that peculiar egocentricity that constituted territory was screaming silent defiance almost constantly. It was his village and his library and his friends, and thus his fight. His, Spike's, and no pony else's. Half of him wanted to crow proudly like a rooster from the rooftops, and the other half wanted to hide like a mole and never come out. Worst of all, he didn't have the faintest idea how to explain it to Twilight. Horse apples, but he was so confused. Territory and hopelessness, pride and fear, sorrow and greed, worry and laughter, shame and love. He was vaguely amazed his head wasn't exploding from the sheer pressure of it all. Twilight tapped his knee with one hoof.
All right, wake up. You've been standing there looking poleaxed for a whole minute. Big Macintosh turn up this morning?
No, wait. I have to tell you something.
He told her of the mayor's mad idea, and thus even madder reasoning behind it, about the reports of growing dragon prejudice outside the environs of Ponyville, and about his fear that he was about to become a big purple target.
And I don't even know how to talk to reporters, Twilight.
He waved his claws in the air in frustration.
They're going to ask me things and I won't know what to say.
She looked at him disbelievingly.
How do you get yourself into these things, Spike?
It's a gift.
Well, Mare's got a point, but I can see your reasoning too. I think you're right, though she didn't give you a chance to protest because it's all already organized.
I hate being right.
Now that I don't believe. You just have to stay calm, okay? Answer the questions politely, and if you don't know, then you don't know. 3 o'clock, did you say?
Spike nodded.
Then you've got plenty of time for some practice, don't you? Come on. If you do an hour of writing practice, hour of fire practice, lift up Tom 20 times to strengthen your chest and back muscles, and pick up all your apples at lunch, I promise I'll give you another mustache.
Won't be as good.
I'll try my horn off.
You can't buy me with mustaches.
I'll make it curly.
He gave her a sidelong look.
You're on, Sparkle.
The mustache wasn't nearly as luxuriant as the one he had spotted as a baby, and Twilight had practically drove her hooves through the ground trying to conjure it. But it was marvelously, magnificently curly. He twirled it around his claws with a debonair flair all afternoon until, sooner than expected, the magic wore off. It disappeared with a soft as they made their way towards the town hall.
Aw, my mustache!
Well, I know what I'm giving you on your birthday this year. You won't have been able to wear it in the photos anyway, Spike. Nobody would believe that you're only a kid with that thing on your face.
But my mustache!
He turned puppy eyes on her.
I worked hard for that mustache.
So did I.
But Tom is heavy. First Rainbow Dash tries to kill me, and now you.
She lifted her eyes heavenwards.
Right, so you're gonna try and build up your flight muscles lifting feathers then.
Oh, ha ha. Still too heavy.
She poked him in the side and then pulled a face at her.
Hold that pose!
Huh?
Both Spike and Twilight turned to where the voice had come from, and there was a sudden blinding flash of light. Spike blinked furiously to clear the awful white blotches from his vision.
Bah! Pathetic!
Twilight squinted at the black, blue, and white blur.
Photo... finish?
Uh-oh. Birdie's meeting us here.
Oh, this'll be fun.
Yes, it is I. Photo finish. And you are spoiling the magics with your talkings and your walkings. You will take the pose once more. The dragon and making of their face, and the pony with the hoof on their dragon's side. Your pose, now!
Spike looked at Twilight in confusion.
Did you catch any of that?
Oh, yes, with their frowning eyes and their teeth shining in the light, and their grayness of their street behind all the purples and blues and greens.
Another flash of light made Spike's sight fuzzy. Twilight rubbed at her eyes.
Ow!
Can you stop until we're ready?
Aye, Photo finish. Live only for the magics, and the magics wait for no pony.
Can they wait for a dragon just this once?
Waiting, fa. Pony out of shot.
Twilight was whisked away with a strangled yelp.
Yeah.
Now, show photo finish something.
The flash went off once more, and Spike went down on his haunches heavily. The thump as he hit the cobblestones was rather loud. He shook his head to clear the dancing spots of light from his vision.
Yes! So confused, so puzzled. The very picture of bamboozlement, with their purple largeness and their teeth going sparkle and ting. More lights!
Two showy dressed ponies immediately set up large spot lamps that made Spike feel as though he were undergoing some bizarre interrogation. More photos got snapped, and Spike looked around for Twilight desperately.
Less light!
Spike grimaced, wings half unfurling in annoyance.
Good, good, with the faces and the wings. More light!
Spike flinched, his wings flattening against his sides.
Wonderbar! Scarf comes off!
A little gasp made Spike turn around, and he met the wide, upset eyes of Rarity. She was dressed to perfection, a set of beautiful rain boots and jaunty sequin cape, but her face was filled with distress. She had lifted one hoof halfway to her mouth, pausing in the middle of the street and remembered hurt. He straightened his back, his jaw clenching.
Scarf stays on.
Hooves froze in the action of reaching him. Photo finished, gasped, and then leaned forward to stare through her bug-eyed sunglasses at him.
But the scarf is distracting. It takes away the raw impact of the dragon's natural power and size. Where is the boldness? Where is the statement?
What, you think it makes me look smaller?
Spike looked down at the overlong scarf in surprise, and then over at Rarity once more. She gave him a tremulous smile.
Well, it is just the right length for me.
He smiled gratefully back at her. Photo finish, snapped another picture.
Ooh, their smile, and the warmth of the eyes. Yes, yes.
Oh, and I'd like to mention that the scarf was made for me at Carousel Boutique. Can I do that?
Twilight shrugged at him, elbowing from behind to the two assistant ponies.
Well, you just did.
In the article, I mean.
He rolled his eyes. The flash went boom once more, and he shut them hurriedly.
Maybe it should be mentioned under the photos?
Yes, yes, Carousel Boutique, yes. Scarf is too long. Dragon is terrible model. Too stubborn, not obedient, not enough magics.
Oh, her magics.
He chuckled. Another flash went off.
Excellent. Under the light, shiny with all the scales and such.
Photo finish snapped a few more pictures.
But where is the refinement, the elegance? So clumsy, so awkward. Wide-angle camera only. Ach, so limiting. Oh, Fluttershy, how I, photo finish, miss your delicate grace and your dainty little sneezes. Now, we finish!
Her camera bounced and folded itself up, and photo finish immediately began walking away. Her assistants scrambled to pick up all the equipment as the photographer sauntered past him.
That's it?
The blue pony gave him an unimpressed look.
I, photo finish, have captured the magics. Now we have the thing at the place, where we must take the art bloom and live once more. And so...
She turned her head and gave the street 1,000-yard stare.
We go!
And abruptly, she was gone.
That is one weird pony.
Rarity and Twilight came up to stand by him, and he gave them both a hopeful look.
Was that okay?
To be honest, you look kind of lost the whole time.
I'm sure there'll be lovely photos. And Spike,
Yes, Rarity?
thank you for...
She looked askance for a moment, and then up at him.
not letting them take the scarf off you. It felt like history repeating itself for a moment there, you know?
Well, thanks for making it just the right length.
I think I'm in a few of those photos, and with me for scale, nobody's gonna think you're that small just because of a scarf.
Oh, Twilight, of course not. But it's the illusion, don't you see? A designer needs to know these things. Even though Spike's size will be apparent, no pony's ever seen a dragon wearing a fuzzy scarf before, especially one that's too big for him. It makes him appear more accessible.
You mean I don't look accessible? I'm gonna need another scarf.
Twilight shook her head and began to walk into the town hall.
Come on, you two, let's get this over with.
After the two mares had entered the hall, Spike stuck his head through the door and gently tested the width of the frame with his shoulders.
No luck?
Nope.
He sighed and laid down on the front steps with his head inside.
Well, it's nothing we didn't already know.
I was really hoping I'd be able to do this inside.
Spike laid his head on the cold floor.
This is embarrassing.
Yes, I imagine it looks rather peculiar from the outside.
Rub it in.
Smoke rose from a little puff in his nostrils. When it cleared, a brown unicorn stallion with a fedora perched rakishly on a streaked black mane and horn was smiling at him glossily.
Hey, you must be the big guy with so much about. Name's Scoop, freelancer reporter, winner of the Pulitzer Prize 2 years running. Put it there.
He held out a hoof. Spike took it awkwardly in his claw and then shook very, very carefully.
Hi, I'm Spike.
Who doesn't know that, Spike? You're the next big thing, kid. So let's get ourselves comfy here. And we got to get this show on the road, huh?
Twilight and Rarity shared an alarmed look before leaning closer to Spike.
Just keep calm. I have to do some interviews for Closeworth before, and the most important thing is never to lose your poise.
Rarity.
Spike muttered as Scoop pulled a notepad and a pencil from a saddlebag and settled himself down to begin writing.
I don't have any poise.
Yes, that is rather a problem.
Just be yourself and answer what you can.
I'm doomed.
So, Spiky, can I call you Spiky? Let's start with some basics, eh?
Spike grinned a smarmy, sharky grin. Spike smiled back weakly.
You been here how long?
Most of my life.
The pencil began scribbling frantically.
Twilight and I moved from Canterlot when I was...
He was a baby then.
He was about so tall and very sweet.
Rarity held her hoof up to show his infant height.
Nice, nice.
Scoop muttered, horn flaring and pencil wobbling furiously.
Ticking all the demographic targets. Love it, love it. And so you never lived anywhere but Equestria? Never with other dragons, for instance?
No, I've always lived with ponies.
What do you say to those parents who are worried that you're going to start behaving like a true dragon and being eaten foes?
Scoop's tone was conversational, as though he hadn't just caved in Spike's chest with a metaphorical ice pick. The words "true dragon" rang in his ears like it struck a bell.
What?
Spike would never do such a thing.
I wouldn't. Who said this? What parents? I've never eaten a pony in my life. Twilight is my sister. I've barely even ever eaten meat.
A vegetarian dragon?
Scoop's horn flared and the pencil skittered across the page.
This is gold, baby, gold! How about how big you plan to get? You see any problems trying to fit into equestrian society?
Spike was still gasping.
Plan to get?
Scoop shrugged.
Plan, grow, whatever.
I don't have much choice.
He has good friends and a loving sister who will do anything to help him adjust.
Right, right.
Scoop sounded a little disappointed in that answer.
I could see a lot of problems trying to fit in.
The pencil flicked to attention.
Oh, yeah?
Spike gave Twilight and Rarity a panic look. They made encouraging gestures at him.
Well, if you haven't kind of noticed, I don't even fit in the door. It's going to be a lot of work, and I'm going to have to find a lot of ways to compromise. It'll be worth it in the end, though. I get to stay here, in my home, with my friends, in my territory.
Oh, there's a loaded word, kiddo. Good one. Nice hook.
Scoop's eyes were alight with enthusiasm.
So on that note, Spiky, what about any savage dragon instincts you're repressing? Think they'll come out in a blaze of fiery death?
Spike regarded the reporter incredulously.
Are you crazy?
It's a fair question. So, how dragony are you?
Well, apart from the obvious, I don't actually know anything about being a dragon at all. How am I supposed to know what's dragon and what's just me?
So seeing you don't actually know if you're about to turn on Flame Monster of Doom.
I'm saying I will never hurt any pony, ever. I don't eat them, I don't hunt them, and I'm kind of fond of a few of them.
Of course, the sister, right?
Scoop turned to Twilight.
That's you, huh?
Twilight Sparkle, Doctor of Magic.
Right, the princess's little protege,
He hummed, tapped the pencil against the notepad.
How do you reply to those ponies who say that keeping a dragon is a direct violation of equestrian health standards and a threat to our every way of life?
I say they should come and meet Spike.
How about the allegations that allowing you to keep the dragon is a blatant sign of Princess Celestia's growing instability?
I repeat, if the ponies who are saying this come and meet Spike, they will see that he is not dangerous. Princess Celestia knows that.
There are some who consider that keeping a dragon in a pony settlement is cruel to both dragons and ponies alike.
Yeah, it's so much better to be dumped beyond Equestria, where I know nothing and no pony at all. Or better yet, into one of the great forests of Equestria, where the resident dragons will barbecue me alive for trespassing.
Besides, I don't keep him like he's some sort of pet. He's his own dragon. He keeps himself most of the time.
You hatched him, right? As part of an entrance examination to the school for the gifted unicorns?
That's right.
The Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelties to Dragons considers that entrance exam a violation of draconic rights, and that taking eggs from their parents for a test of magic is cruel and barbaric. What answer can you give them?
Spike blinked.
There's a society?
Twilight set her jaw.
I would say that I had no choice in the matter. I was a fool myself, too. Too younger to consider any ethical quandaries. But even if I could go back in time, I wouldn't change hatching and raising Spike for the whole of Equestria.
A society?
And Spiky, what do you think your real parents would think if your life amongst ponies?
He looked helplessly at the reporter.
I haven't ever really thought about it. A society? You're kidding.
Twilight, you had to take a nurturing role to a creature with outweight, and you that to a creature will outweigh you 100 times over. How do you manage the authority figure?
Creature?
He was smaller than me until a few years ago. Besides, Spike has enough respect for me to listen to what I say, mostly.
Spike gave her a sheepish look.
What about the occasion that your relationship with Dragon is unhealthy?
What?
Spike, calm down.
He panted in fury, smoke billowing in gusts from his mouth before getting himself under control. Twilight looked back to the stunned reporter and fixed him with a furious look.
Spike is my little brother, and I love him. I would never hurt him.
Twilight is my big sister, and I love her.
The slimy insinuation made him see red.
I would die before I hurt her.
Scoop swallowed hard.
Sorry.
Spike gritted his fangs and tried to calm his anger as the shaken reporter levitated his notepad again. The pencil wobbled nervously on the page.
I didn't mean to frighten you.
You got quite a set of lungs there, Spiky, old pal.
The fedora teetered as the reporter trembled. Spike suddenly felt ashamed of himself. Here he was frightening a pony that he'd sworn he'd never do such a thing if he could help it.
I really didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Are you okay?
I'm okay. It's...
Scoop took a big shaky breath and grinned. The grin was a lot less smarmy.
Shall we just move on?
Excellent idea.
Okay, back to you, Spiky, old pal. Do you plan to settle in Ponyville permanently?
Yes.
And by permanently, do you mean really permanently? See what I'm getting at? It's the dragons live...
Look, I know what you're going to say, but Ponyville is home, and the ponies here are my family. Even when they...
He broke off and looked at the door, blinking hard. There was a silence.
Spike.
Well, even when... Then, it's still going to be home. And they'll have families too. And so their families will be mine. I'll look after them. I'll always look after them.
Do you have any long-term plans for Ponyville?
Well, I'm going to build a house, and I'm going to protect the town. And I'll, just help out.
Spike took a deep breath and then looked directly at Twilight and Rarity, trying to convey his absolute sincerity through his eyes.
I'll be here to help out for a long, long time.
The two unicorns gazed at him, dumbstruck. Twilight had tears in her eyes.
Help out how?
Well, my friend Pinkie Pie had heaps of ideas. I've already started. I moved a rock that was blocking the old stream to the lake the other day.
What else do you plan on doing?
Scoop leaned forward.
At the moment, I'm learning a lot of stuff. It's hard work. But I'm hoping to give sky rides to unicorns and earth ponies once I learn to fly. And when I've gotten better at handling my fire, I'll be able to help with heaps of things, like heating water and winter wrap-up. Plus, I'll be able to cook again.
You like to cook?
He makes the best dandelions and wild rocket quiche you have ever tasted.
Her eyes had not left Spike, and understanding and sorrow glimmered in their purple depths.
Seriously?
Scoop pulled a face.
Dragons who cook. Who knew?
We did.
Scoop flicked through his notepad, frowning.
I think we're just about done. Any closing remarks?
Yes, drop that smarry act. It's terrible gosh and it's annoying.
Think he's asking Spike.
Twilight was still gazing at him, and he gave her a small, sad smile before turning back to Scoop.
Look, I know that my staying here is going to freak a lot of ponies out at first, but I'm not like all the stories, I promise. I'm working really hard to make sure I can't hurt any pony, even by accident. And it's scary, I know, to meet some ponies so much bigger and stronger than you. Believe me, I know. But I'm just Spike on the inside, and I'm not really that different from Twilight or Rarity or you. I'm just a kid still. A kid who loves his friends and family and home.
Nice. Very nice. That's the best quote yet.
I just hope that every pony gets used to the idea eventually.
Spike sighed again and lowered his head onto his paws. Twilight immediately laid her cheek against his forehead. The reporter's horn glowed and the notepad and pencil zipped back into the saddlebag.
I think that's a wrap. Sorry for...
The crass situations, the horrible intrusive questions.
It's my job to ask them, lady. I gotta. If you don't, everybody else will... For what it's worth, I hope this works out for you, Spiky.
Thanks.
Spike pulled himself out of the doorway so the reporter could exit. Scoop doffed his fedora as he left and began trotting up the overcast street. Twilight and Rarity joined Spike on the town hall steps.
Well, that was horrible.
Well, it's all over now.
Thanks, Celestia.
Oh, I better get back to the shop, dears. Sweetie will be home from school any minute.
Rarity? Thanks.
Anytime.
Spike watched her go, her cape sparkling against the gray, wet street.
Do you want to talk about it?
Spike immediately knew what she meant and shook his head, his heart twisting inside him.
No. I'm not going to mourn for the future. I'm not.
That's a very deep insight.
She leaned against his foreleg.
Princess Luna came to see me. She helped me with all that stuff Razorfang said to me. She came up with that one. I'm not that clever.
Don't put yourself down like that.
Twilight pressed her head against his foreleg tenderly. He snaked his head down to nuzzle her mane.
Don't be sad for me, Twilight.
She nosed him softly, her eyes squeezing shut.
Don't forget me, will you?
He smiled, his throat tight and his heart full.
That's crazy talk. Like I could ever forget you. Dear Princess Celestia, I'm so sorry. You're right when you say I should have told you, and you're right when you described all the reasons. I'm ashamed that I didn't think to write you straight away, and I should have known that you'd want to know, not only for Ponyville's sake, but for mine as well. The reason I didn't tell you, well, I hadn't really thought about why until I received your letter. Then I started thinking about it, and I came up with 2 reasons. I don't know if they're any good, and they're sure not an excuse. The first one is that I don't want any pony to get hurt because of my mess. I'd never forgive myself, ever, especially if it were some pony I care for. That does include you and your sister, Princess. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. The second one is hard to explain. I spoke to the dragon of the Everfree Forest, and he started telling me about territory. I realized I've been territorial my whole life without really knowing it, and I think this was related. I sort of considered the library mine, you see, and that's starting to change to include all of Ponyville. A little voice inside me keeps screaming that I should be the one to protect it and no pony else. It sounds stupid when I write it down, but it's true. Like I said, I don't know if these make any real difference. I just thought I owed you an explanation. I really am so sorry. So you're aware, I've done an interview that's apparently going out in a whole bunch of newspapers around Equestria. It was the mayor's idea. There's a group of ponies from outside Ponyville who are seriously anti-dragon, and she received a report that they were becoming stronger and more organized. I'm hoping this article might deter some of them, but mostly I think it paints a big fat target on my big purple back. Your friend, Spike. P.S. I've asked Twilight to read this letter so she also knows my reason. I haven't done a very good job of being open with my friends lately. I promise I'll work it out. P.P.S. You or your sister wouldn't have enough magic to affect a fully grown dragon, would you? I know you said you didn't have the authority to step over draconic tradition, but maybe just this once? Please? P.P.P.S. Tell your sister hi.
And this has been the 5th chapter of It Takes a Village. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Hooray!
and now Rectifier's dying.
Well, that's one way to end it.
Great voice for Scoop there.
I'm still in character. What you talking about?
So what you're saying, Sonny, is that you came back from Ponyville with nothing.
Still have to deal with my grandpa's dumb old friends.
Don't
I'm
worry,
sorry,
he
you're
just-
too late. Dadsmore already popped off here.
Mailed.
What now?
It's an inside joke.
Well, I was trying to get Rectifier to respond to that one.
Yeah, he was trying to be the boss to the reporter,
Yes.
saying that he came back with nothing.
Oh. People in Bodyville make a mean condition.
Hey, listen, Sonny, I've been running this paper for 15 years. I was the writer before that. I was an editor after that. You gotta learn to stand on your own, Sonny.
What the hell are you talking about?
I wasn't talking to
I'm
you.
just enjoying the banter.
There's a reason
Take
we
your
only
meds,
let
old
him.
man.
There's a reason we only let him have access to the classifieds page.
Aye, photo finish. Just try
I
to
don't
find
care.
the
Get
magic.
out of my office, you dumb there.
Yes. More light.
More light.
No,
The way.
that's my life.
The
I am the one to capture the magic.
Listen, all you have to know is if you'll take a photo, make sure that it is finished properly and not of plutonium.
No,
Somebody get this man
plutonium makes the magics.
No, plutonium does not contain the magics. Plutonium contains the explosion.
Wait.
Which
So I can't.
is the magics.
I wasn't supposed to procure a picture of plutonium. I was supposed to procure the plutonium.
No, you
Oh,
are
why
supposed
didn't no one
to.
tell me this?
No, you are supposed to go to a bakery and get yellow cake, not go to Libyans and obtain yellow cake.
That's how you get a yellow
Well,
cake that
someone
looks like
should tell me
Chernobyl.
this before they put things on the list. I mean, come on. If you're gonna give me the list to go to the store, make sure it's clear.
Look, we didn't know that you had Libyan ties before now, and now that we do know, we say go to a Ukrainian bakery in future. They will not confuse your forms of yellow cake.
This is the kind of crazy nutcase I have to deal with every day. You think that after my grandfather's death that they would go down as well, but no, they're still here.
Oh.
We're still alive, aren't we?
Anyways,
Not still there yet.
thanks all of you for the wonderful entertainment. But anyways, we have reached the end of our stream. So without further ado, shout out. So we'll start with our newcomers. So starting off with Marzi.
Hey!
Anyone or anything you'd like to shout out this evening?
I thought the Fluttershy and Big Mac part was really adorable. I wasn't expecting that.
Neither were we. And next on Directify.
Buy my mixtape.
And subscribe to his Patreon and Twitter.
Yeah, subscribe to my
what
Twitter,
else do
my
we have?
YouTube, my Facebook, my what's that one new one? No Vine's dead. Yeah.
And make sure you stay up late so that he can call you when he's drunk.
Call me on my cell phone.
Shush.
That's when he becomes Greg the Fire.
That's when you know it's about to get lit.
And now on to Sora.
You mean the best darn rarity I've ever
Please, never let me do rarity again.
heard? I like
You're-
it.
That
you're
was so bad.
You were
No.
great rarity.
You did pretty
Yes,
good.
you need to do rarity more often.
No, these
Yes.
two have never been on this show before, and they were impressed.
I listen to Winchester Wednesday all the time. She's a great rarity.
Yes, but she's never been on the show before, and she's impressed.
Yes, she has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, I'm drunk. Sorry.
Sora's been on the show before. Marzi
No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't. Let me go back and
mean-
I'm gonna go revise history some more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yes, I've been on the show before. I was Applejack, I was Rainbow Dash, and
Sora,
Yeah.
how was it to be the first lady?
how was it to be the first lady?
Yeah, well, I figure if I'm gonna change history, I might as well make major changes to it. So
Oh,
Hey,
well, you
what-
see.
You're supposed to use your time machine for good,
it
not
is
crazy.
good. It's somewhat good.
Is it crazy?
if you're gonna do that, can you make me the
It's
guy that
beyond
made
good.
Can you make me the guy that made boppets? You remember those? You put them on your
Yeah,
hands?
sure. Yeah, sure. Perfect. I'll take that. Take care of that next time I take the TARDIS mobile out.
Can I be the one who invented air
Right.
conditioning?
No,
Wait, no, I want that one. I want that one.
but
Hey,
but
can I have something historically significant?
sure. I was gonna say, but Winchester, you can't invent air conditioning, but I can have you invent the
Yeah.
cruise missile.
Yeah. Wait, no, I want that one.
Well,
Okay.
what about the company that'll profit the most from fidget spinners?
No, I want that one.
Yahoo. Okay.
Yeah.
Larsus, can I have something historically significant?
I think Winchester should be
Strawberries?
the next person on about sign-offs. By the way.
Anyways, before we get too far off on our tangent here, Larsa's shoutouts.
My shout out this week is to I.W. Harper 15-year aged bourbon. It's kept me sane mostly throughout this whole stream.
And
Now
Orange is
shout-outs for
saying in
your
chat.
goldfish.
And Orange is saying in chat that he wants to be the inventor of sliced bread.
I want that one.
No, he's shouting out to sliced bread because Double R invented it.
Alrighty, and speaking of Double R, your shout out.
Let's see. Well, obviously, in recognition of the summer solstice, I'll just give my shout out to Celestia and Daybreaker to burning all the heretics.
And he is now gone. And next on the CMC.
Server mute him.
Perfect.
And next on to CMC.
Shout out to the usual fires, explosions, LOE, and let's just Dark Souls this and praise the sun. And Double R is just all about heretics.
Anyways, yes. Thanks everyone for showing up. My shout outs go to all of you viewers and especially air conditioning because I had to work all day in a shop that was about 107 degrees and it sucked.
Shout outs to Marzipan and Rectifier for joining us tonight.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
Can I get
Yes.
like
By
a
the way,
shout out real quick?
Yes.
Shout out Ponies at Dawn drops on the 23rd. Be sure to grab yourself a copy. It's free or pay what you want. You know, support everyone that's on the album. There's a lot. There's like 60 some songs. It's great. It's free and free.
And
wait, what are you liking?
and rectifiers are standing like him for the night. Anyways, actually speaking of
No,
I understand this. Oh, okay. Now we're back live again. That was strange.
Yeah.
Anyways, without further ado, our exiting song is Phoenix, and Rectifier should know this because it's by I Blank Two Apples and Him.
Yeah. You didn't know the damn name of the song.
So, anyways, thank you all for showing up. Everybody say goodbye.
Night, everyone.
Bye.
thanks everybody for showing up. It was fun. Anyways, see you next week. This is Winchester 572 going 10-7. I'm out. Bye-bye.